What advice would you give Enzo now that he's in that situation?
Oh man, I think, to be honest, and I would never put him on blast. I've dealt with Eric since he started, when he came to Tampa. He truly, he has a place in my heart because he's a Jersey boy, and I think that's that hometown thing. I've always wanted to take care of Jersey boys. It goes back to Bigelow. Bigelow was good to me, so. And I always told him, like, man, you got a gift, and your gift is either going to work for you or work against you. And I think the same advice I gave him the first 5 years of his career, like I said to these guys, know what you're doing. You're not above anything. It's a different world. It's a different time. It's socially acceptable and social media and politically correct. And, you know, and growing up in Jersey for years, you call somebody half a sissy, and you weren't insulting their gender or their manhood or anything else. Hit the ball, you half a sissy. You grew up saying that. Bubba Dudley and I were talking about it. Now you can't, you can't say it. And it's not because it's bad, it's just because someone gets offended by it. And I think you just have to take a second. This is what I say when I speak to students. Take a second and realize that the decisions you make today are going to be the stories they tell about you tomorrow. That's the easiest way to say it. Everything you do today is going to be a story that someone tells about you tomorrow. I give myself up in a heartbeat. I got funny stories up the wazoo. And I've got stories that I'm ashamed of. As you get older, you start to realize, man, that was stupid shit,
oh, yeah.
you know? But we all go through that. That's life, and that's human stuff. But that's what I would say to you. Realize that everything you do today is a story someone can tell about you tomorrow. And you get to decide what story they're going to tell. And it doesn't always end up to be the story you want. You want someone to tell a story about being a heavyweight champion and making millions of dollars. It may not ever get there, fellas. But if the story is, that guy was fun as hell to work with. Hey, I'll tell you what, he may have hated it, but he was a rip-roaring blast to work with. The rides I had with that guy were unbelievable. That's what we did today. Sitting there with Barb, the lessons I learned from Barb about wrestling and the business were secondary to the laughs we had and the time I spent with him as a human being. Because you got to know the guy and get to work with them. So, whether it's Enzo or whether it's anybody who's ever just run into that thing where they've not been treated right on social media, just realize that the decisions you make allow people to tell stories. And it's really hard to tell a bad story about someone who's just trying to do it the right way.
I told them when it first happened, I said, don't put yourself in a bad situation.
Yeah. There's nothing, fellas, the rock and roll days are over. Mick Jagger ain't coming back. The Who's only half with us. ACD, there's no Ozzy Osbourne. You watch him now, he's a timid son of a gun, and he's got great knowledge. That's all the stuff he's learned. He talks about, his drugs and all the things, and all these rehab guys, they're alive today to share that stuff. Those days, there's no such thing, and forgive me for saying it this way, you ain't going out and banging chicks every night. There's no such thing as the word rat in wrestling anymore. All the rats in this business are guys, because that's the ones that hang around everywhere. I mean, it's just a different business.